Hi, this is Tisch Aitken, and it is Friday, May 6th, 2022, and I'm doing a brief check-in. We are in the middle of eclipse season, and a lot is happening and a lot is going on, and we had a partial solar eclipse on Saturday, April 30th at 10 degrees and 28 minutes of the fixed Earth sign of Taurus. And the moon is exalted in Taurus. It loves being there. It's very creative and fertile and abundant and prosperous. And it's ruled by the planet Venus. And eclipses are like wild cards. A lot of change in a flash, in an instant. You can have your life changed altogether, and you can get big news that gets uncovered out of the blue, and some of which maybe has been building up for a while. Sometimes it just comes out of left field, and it's been very disruptive because the moon does love being in Taurus and it's exalted there, but eclipses are like new moons and full moons on steroids. And in this case, this new moon set off where Uranus, which is the great awakener, the modern ruler of Aquarius, the planet of genius and brilliance, but also of chaos and disruption. Uranus has been transiting on and off in the sign of Taurus since May 15th of 2018. And that has been very disruptive because Taurus is very predictable, grounded Earth, and having the planet of disruption and chaos transiting there has not been easy. And this solar eclipse was only within 3 degrees of Uranus, so adding the element of surprise and chaos and the unexpected. Big splits, big endings, big changes, big beginnings as well. It's a north node eclipse. We're meant to go more towards the north node. We're meant to release the south node, which is transiting in Scorpio. But eclipses always come in pairs. So really, we're working with both eclipses at once because the solar eclipse was on April 30th, and the following eclipse will be a total lunar eclipse in Scorpio on May 15th at 9:14 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and on May 16th at 12:14 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 25 degrees and 18 minutes of the fixed water sign of Scorpio. And that's going to be a very emotionally intense full moon eclipse. That is a total lunar eclipse, which means that the Earth comes between the sun and the moon and cuts off the light of the sun reflected off from the moon. So it completely blocks off the moon and brings things to light and makes us see things in a way we never have before. The moon is in its fall position because it is exalted in the opposite sign of Taurus. Therefore, it's very much about digging up blocked pain and buried wounds and memories that we try not to deal with or that we have trouble dealing with that are just too difficult to face. And in this, Scorpio is the sign of death and regeneration as well as power. And on the day of the lunar eclipse, the sun will square Saturn in the sky on the day of the lunar eclipse, and that can feel blocked and restricted. It also will sextile Neptune, the planet of dreams and imagination. But there is a challenge with the full moon eclipse, with roadblocks in some ways, but hopefully finding creative solutions. And the thing about it is that we still have a lot of Pisces in the sky. Venus is now transiting in the cardinal fire sign of Aries. It entered Aries on May 2nd, and it will transit there until May 28th. And so that brings an element of fire and audacity and passion. but we still have 4 points transiting in Pisces, which is very sensitive, emotional energy. And then the upcoming lunar eclipse is a total lunar eclipse, meaning that the nodes of the moon have to be within 9 degrees for a total lunar or a total solar eclipse. And in this case, they're within a couple of degrees of this full moon eclipse. And when Mercury is going to retrograde on May 10th at 4 degrees and 50 minutes of the mutable air sign of Gemini. So a lot of information. Mercury rules the sign of Gemini, so giving us a lot of news and lots of information. New moon eclipse conjunct Uranus, the higher octave of Mercury, giving us a lot of unexpected news, and that's still resonating very strongly. And then Mercury will retrograde on May 10th, which is the day that Jupiter changes signs and will leave the sign of Pisces until October 28th. And it's going to enter the cardinal fire sign of Aries. And that's a big deal too. So it's going to enter Aries. It's going to get as far as 8 degrees of Aries, and then it will re-enter Pisces on October 28th through December 20th, the last 2 degrees of Pisces. So we've got more fire in the sky with Jupiter entering the first sign of the zodiac. Jupiter does love being in Pisces, but now it's expanding through courage and passion and bravery. And so that will bring more fire. We'll have the two benefics, Venus and Jupiter, transiting in cardinal fire sign that likes to get things going. And we're still in eclipse season with lots of information getting uncovered. Mercury in the sign it rules in Gemini until May 22nd, when it re-enters Taurus. It will station direct on June 3rd at 26 degrees of Taurus. And this sets off where the lunar eclipse will be, because the lunar eclipse will be at 25 degrees of Scorpio, and Mercury stations direct, setting off that eclipse, bringing more news and more information. And then Mercury will leave the sign of Taurus altogether on June 14th and enter the sign of Gemini, and then finally clear its shadow a little bit further into June. So we're dealing with Mercury retrograde in the midst of eclipse season. Jupiter, the biggest planet, the grand benefic, doing what it did last year. This is the second year it has transited an entire sign and is now entering the following sign, in this case for a longer period of time, because it's going to be in Aries until the end of October. So that's a big deal. And so there is a lot going on, with 4 points still transiting in Pisces, because Mars will be transiting in Pisces until May 24th, and such as that we've got a lot of confusion, a lot of escapism, a lot of intuition, and a lot of water, and a very powerful lunar eclipse in a painful placement in Scorpio, honoring the loss, knowing there could be power struggles with this energy. Saturn is squaring the nodes of fate, and Saturn, is transiting in Aquarius, in the sign it rules in ancient astrology. Karmic choices and decisions, definitely endings with this total lunar eclipse. It's a full moon release. It's a completion. I have seen major beginnings on lunar eclipses, but with Saturn squaring the sun on the day of the eclipse, a south node eclipse, release and letting go in Scorpio, the sign of elimination. I think there will be a lot of release with that eclipse, and processing a lot of emotions in order to heal and work with all of the magic of the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction, because we do have that energy potent through the end of May, even though Jupiter is now transiting in Aries and in the first degrees of Aries, initiating new beginnings. And that is bringing some fun and good positive enthusiasm to the cosmos as well. So I wish you good luck. It's a very hectic month. Mercury retrogrades in Gemini and then in Taurus. Jupiter changes signs, and we have a lot to work with and a lot of revelations. Thank you very much. Take care.